John Karalis is the Celtic beat writer for the BostonSportsJournal.com. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hi, John.
Hello, how are you?
I got Celtics fever because this is looks like a lot's up in the air here in terms of if they're going to win or not.
Yeah.
So it sounded like Missoula got into it a little bit with Washburn, or not Missoula, Tatum got into it a little bit with Washburn after Game 3. I think he thought Washburn was challenging him on his lack of scoring in Game 3, and that Tatum does other things. How did you think Tatum performed in Game 3, and what did you make out of that exchange?
I don't think that he got into it with Washburn. I think he was. I was there. I wouldn't classify it as him addressing Washburn directly. I think he was addressing more the whatever critics are out there, maybe a Stephen A. Smith or somebody else. Because I took it as a very measured response of, as long as people are fair, like he accepts the criticism, and maybe some of the criticism that's been out there would be classified as unfair. I think that's why he said it the way he did. It was an interesting kind of beginning where he, swore and was like, okay, let's just tackle his head on. So I think that his performance was good in Game 3. He started out really, really well, and then he kind of tapered off, missing some shots later on. Missing a lot of mid-range shots, like fadeaway shots. I think that's something he's going to have to work on this summer. But I thought in Game 3 he was generally really good, and I think that if there's anything that kind of grinds his gears, so to speak, it's that people don't give him the credit for the rebounds. 13 rebounds and 6 assists and those kinds of things, where he is being asked to do a lot of these other things. And so I think that's why he put it the way he did. He needs to be the player that the Celtics are asking him to be. And that is more than scoring, because honestly, the Celtics are not at their best when Tatum is dropping 40 and 50 and looking like Anthony Edwards or Jamal Murray or, Luka Doncic. The Celtics are at their best when he's moving the ball, and guys like Derek White and Drew Holiday and other players are contributing 15 to 20 points. That's when the Celtics put up 120 and look like the best offense in the world.
So where do you put him in the top 10 in the NBA? I mean, you mentioned Edwards, who had 44 yesterday. Doncic had 35. Not Doncic. Jokic had 35. For varying results. But Tatum isn't scoring as much, but he does other things. Where do you put him?
Yeah, I don't think that Tatum is. I think Tatum's in the top 10. I think he's probably 5 or 6. Like I think where he's been ranked in the MVP voting is kind of accurate and indicative. And I think he's a first or second team All NBA guy this season. Some seasons he'll be a no doubt first teamer. Some seasons he'll be maybe borderline. And then I don't know if he works on a couple of things and maybe he elevates himself. But the way I always compare Tatum to other players like Luka or Jokic is Tatum is like a concert pianist who started out as a kid and really worked hard and went to the Boston Conservatory and went to like Juilliard and really trained hard. And those other guys are people who just picked it up by ear and figured it out, and they can both play amazingly, but the other guys just have this thing, this kind of like natural ability, where Tatum's ability is somewhat natural, but more honed and worked on. And so I think the other guys have an ability to kind of riff in the moment, and that makes them just a little bit more capable of the more special moments more often. Tatum has to work really hard to get his points, and that's why he does these other things, because he's got the size and all of that stuff. So still an amazing player, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm not high on Tatum. He's still like a top. Saying somebody's top 10 in the NBA is not a knock, and sometimes he's top 5.
Yeah, John, and I don't want to get too into the weeds in this, but what you said I think is really interesting about how he's kind of a little more methodical and a little more trained and honed. And one of the criticisms I've heard and I think it was Washburn, as we just mentioned him earlier, said something like sometimes it's his in-game strategy where instead of like going inside early and making opponents respect his game down low and then going outside to shoot, sometimes he'll start shooting outside early and kind of doing things the opposite way than what he was trying before. And I wonder if he's overthinking himself in some of these situations, which ultimately results in him taking desperation shots both from the outside and down low. We've seen him, and I say this, you can set your watch at the point of the game where Tatum is just going to back himself down, dribble the ball like through the parquet, and take the shot no matter what. And I wonder if sometimes he's just over analyzing the situations both in game and in the moment.
I think there's times where he's looking for his own offense. It happens when he struggles, right? It's not going to happen very often when he comes out and is just in the flow of the game and the shots are falling early. If he's struggling early, or if he's struggled for a few games, then you'll see him tend to start to pull up a little bit from three. Just kind of trying to see, do I have the three-pointer today? Can I find my three-pointer? And then if that's not falling, then he starts trying to find his offense somewhere else because he does need to score. He does need to do that stuff. So he just has to do it differently. He has to find a different way. And that's why I keep saying that mid-range shot, that mid-range fadeaway that is not very efficient right now, he and Drew Hanlon, I think, have to spend the summer making that an efficient shot that just back down, spin over your right shoulder, fire and hit that. Kind of a Paul Pierce shot. He just needs to get a money, like automatic shot like that he can go to in the fourth quarter and close out games. I think, honestly, the biggest difference is when the fourth quarter comes around, you see these other guys just making shot after shot after shot. And Tatum hasn't done that for a while.
Did you see Donovan Mitchell get hurt during Game 3? Because I didn't see it. He's been off the floor for, I think, 24 minutes in this series, and the offensive rating for Cleveland when he's off the floor is under 70, which, if you don't know about advanced stats, is atrocious. So not having him would be a killer.
That fourth quarter, there was a point where he kind of went into the stands, and when he came out, he was really laboring. Like, it looked bad. And you saw in the fourth quarter, there were 2, 3, 4 possessions there towards the end where he didn't even get involved in the play. So this is Donovan Mitchell, who's involved in every play. And then all of a sudden he was just kind of standing off to the side and letting Karalis, LeVert, and Darius Garland kind of do their thing. That tells me that it's not just out of gas because Donovan Mitchell can will himself to finding something on fumes. I don't think that need is right. And before we started, I was looking at the shots that he was taking and the shots he was hitting over Al Horford. Lots of step backs to his left where you're pushing off that right leg. If that's not there for him, he's going to struggle.
If you were the Celtics and Porzingis was healthy enough to play, would you start playing him now?
I don't think I would push. Well, I'll put it this way. If he's 100% and he's 100%, whenever that is when that is. So if there's no risk to him being hurt, if he's coming back early and he says, I'm ready, and they're like, it's probably a little sore, I'm not playing him. But if they say he's 100% and 100% healed and there's nothing, then yeah, whenever he's ready, he's ready. But I'm not rushing him back in this series because I think the Celtics kind of have the blueprint, and it's on them. It's on them to play hard. And on top of that, if Donovan Mitchell's knee is a problem and he can't kind of will himself to some of the shots that he's making, then the rest of the Cavs kind of don't have what it takes. So I'm floating the test balloon here in Game 4. If the Celtics can take that 3-1 lead, then I don't think they need Porzingis at all. And I don't think they need Porzingis to take that 3-1 lead.
Whether or not they have Porzingis, does Cleveland win another game in this series?
They could, because they've been winning the shot margins. Like, I think it was like 84-80 shots attempted in the last game, and they took more 3-pointers. So that opens up the possibility of a Max Strus, Dean Wade, Darius Garland kind of hot shooting night where if they're taking enough shots, the shooting variance can certainly give them one more game in their favor. That's why if the Celtics can go out in Game 4 and take more shots, like if they win the shot margin 90-80, then that's not enough shots. Even if the Cavs get hot, that's not enough shots to beat the Celtics. So that's where the Celtics need to focus and kind of take away that opportunity. But if the Cavs can put up as many or more shots than Boston, you're one guy's hot shooting night away from a tough loss.
All right, John Karalis, the Celtics beat writer for BostonSportsJournal.com, is covering the series.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.